Hi, good morning and welcome to this Induction to the Language Centre at Queen's for students of HAPP, History, Anthropology, Politics and Philosophy. My name is Thomas Smith and I am the manager of the Language Centre at Queen's. I said good morning, good afternoon or good evening depending on when you are watching this video. But this video hopes to really introduce you to the Language Centre of Queen's, underline a little bit of what the Language Centre is and how you might hope to engage with it during your time as an undergraduate student at Queen's, and also some of the benefits of engaging with the Language Centre and some of the reasons that you may want to as students of HAPP in particular. You can see on this slide that we do have some social media accounts. We have a Facebook page and a Twitter page where we try to update students about what's going on in the Language Centre and share some useful content and point you to certain places on the internet where you can develop your language skills outside of the Language Centre also and things like that. And we also have our email address, our phone number and our web page there. Everything that I'll be talking to you about you will be able to follow up on our website if you would like further details of it. So do take note of those if that would be of interest. In this short session, like I've mentioned, I'm going to highlight a little bit about what the Language Centre is, what our offer is to you, how you can benefit from our offer and why you might want to make use of it. Largely speaking, the Language Centre is based in the Maclay Library at Queen's physically, although at the minute obviously we are working from home due to the coronavirus. However, you can still contact us and get in touch with us via the email in the same way if you would like any further information on our courses or if there's anything that's unclear to you. So please do feel free to follow up with us. I'm going to start by talking about our Languages for Non-Specialist courses. Now, these courses do look a little bit different this semester than they will do hopefully going forward and for the rest of your time here at Queen's. Normally we would have 27 languages on offer, all of which you can take from absolute beginner level, so you don't have to have a previous experience of learning any of our languages that we offer here at Queen's. This semester, right now, semester 1, 2020-2021, we will be offering online language courses. And you can see the list of languages that we're offering this semester: Arabic, French, German, Hindi, Irish, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Mandarin, Chinese, Polish and Spanish. And the format of these courses in this semester will be that there'll be 10-week programs starting in the second week of October, with registration for these courses open right now. And these courses are communicative in their focus, I should say. They're courses which consist of, in this semester, one 90-minute tutor-led online session, and that's an interactive tutor-led session online every week. So you will have 10 of those 90-minute tutor-led classes, which will hopefully develop your understanding of languages, develop your ability to express yourself and understand what's being said to you in that language, as well as developing your cultural understanding, because nobody ever learns a language without learning a little bit about the related cultures and how perhaps routines are different, perspectives are different in different parts of the world. All of you are able to sign up for those courses right now, as I said, and there is a subsidised rate that QUB students and staff pay to take these courses. It's just £20 admin fee for taking a whole course with us. And like I say, you can register online. If you go to the Language Centre website, you will see links that will take you to the Eventbrite pages to register for those courses. We offer these courses 3 times a year, so starting in October, in February and in April, and they are always 10-week programs. We're hopeful to return to face-to-face classes, face-to-face teaching in January in February of next year, and do keep an eye on our website for updates on that and for registration going forward. But like I say, you can register right now for first semester courses that will be starting in October, and if you go to the Language Centre website, you will find all of the details that you need there. These courses do not have an associated examination or assessment process or anything like that, certainly not a formal assessment process. And really the focus of these courses is to develop your authentic language skills, your ability to communicate and understand others, and develop your knowledge and understanding of listening, reading, writing and speaking in that language, with a real focus on the listening and speaking parts. And that's not to say that there is no writing, that there is no grammar. Unfortunately, we can't leave those things out, and maybe from your previous experiences of language learning, you find those to be not as engaging. Like I said, this will be different, I would guess, to a lot of your previous experiences of language learning, and we would really encourage you to consider how you might benefit from taking any one of these language courses. You can develop a new language, you can pick up a new language if you see a language there that appeals to you that you've never learned before. That's absolutely what we're here to support. However, also with, for example, Spanish and French and German, we have 7 different levels that you can take. So if you have taken one of those languages previously in school, maybe to GCSE or to A level, those 7 different levels will go right up to level 7, which is notionally post-A level standard. So you can keep that level up, and that's a really important thing to consider, the benefit of not losing your current competence in a foreign language, in a second or third language, if that's something that you have, because that can be a real asset to you, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as the presentation goes on. We also have a few different types of courses. We have Spanish for Business, which is an online offer, and there are 3 modules in that: beginners, intermediate, and advanced. That course then will not be a 10-week program, but that will actually run for the whole academic year, with all of your assess materials, your practice materials, your teaching materials being housed online on the Canvas platform. And again, the registration process for that program is exactly the same. If you go to the Language Centre website, you will find a link to register for that course. Like I say, that course is more of an online course. It is still a blended course, and you will have a weekly opportunity to have a drop-in session with your tutor for that course. So that will be 1 hour a week where you can log in and have a conversation with your tutor, follow up on any of the areas, any of the teaching areas that perhaps aren't clear, maybe get some extra explanation around a grammar point that you're not quite understanding. A very different course, Spanish for Business as an online course, to the LNS courses, the Languages for Non-Specialist courses that we were just talking about, but certainly one there for you to consider if that is an area that you would be interested in. We also offer British Sign Language courses. Now, we offer the official BSL Level 1 and BSL Level 2 courses in collaboration with Signature, the accrediting body. Those courses are slightly different. Again, they are year-long programs. And I should say, with regards to cost, the Spanish for Business course is also subsidised, and the subsidised rate there is £60. Like I said, it's a year-long course. And for the British Sign Language courses, the BSL Level 1 and Level 2, they are the standardised accreditations. You will receive an official certificate from Signature, the accrediting body, for completing those. And so they are slightly different, with slightly different pricing models as Signature dictates to us. But the BSL, British Sign Language Level 1 and 2, are year-long programs. There are 64 hours of teaching associated with Level 1 and 100 hours of teaching associated with Level 2. So there's a lot of teaching involved there, and there are 3 assessments associated with those as well. Again, you can find more details of those courses on our website. However, the BSL courses will not be running in September, October time. We are hopeful to run those courses again beginning in January 2021. So again, keep an eye out on the website if that's something that you are interested in, something that you would like to develop yourself, and we will be keeping you as informed as we can about the next time that that course will be offered. You may not be familiar with Degree Plus just yet. In short, Degree Plus is a platform which allows you to gain accreditation for extracurricular activities that you take part in whilst you are a student at Queen's that are not related to your degree, and receive recognition for those. And all of our Language Centre courses are Degree Plus accredited. The first courses that I talked about, so these LNS language courses, the 10-week programs that we discussed to begin with, qualify you for Route B Degree Plus. So if you couple this activity, couple a language course in one of these languages at any level with another activity, you will receive full Degree Plus. And actually the BSL courses, for example, and the Spanish for Business advanced course will qualify you for Route A, meaning that that will be a standalone activity that you can take to achieve Degree Plus that you don't have to combine with another activity. That will maybe become clear to you whenever somebody else speaks to you about Degree Plus in greater detail, but something to bear in mind, that as well as the Language Centre certificate that you will receive for these courses, or the Signature certificate in the case of BSL, you will also receive Degree Plus accreditation if you apply for it. In addition to language courses, we are also always developing our cultural awareness offer in the Language Centre, and we do a lot of work, discipline-specific work, I suppose, with different schools in the university, and we are currently looking to branch out and have a more generic offer. So again, something to look out for, perhaps on our social media or on our website, more details of these cultural awareness sessions. We also have kind of language taster sessions and cultural taster sessions where we will have different opportunities for you to be attending. Sessions with a focus on, I suppose, really considering how perspectives differ across different cultures, and the idea really being that if we develop a curiosity in this area, it's something that can be really helpful to us going forward whenever we're working in multicultural workplaces, in the global workplace, indeed, increasingly global workplace that we are seeing evolve. So if you're interested in maybe finding out more about those sessions, again, keep an eye on our website, keep an eye on our social media, and we will be promoting that offer throughout the year and throughout your time at Queen's. We also have a tandem language exchange. For any of you that don't know how a tandem language exchange works, essentially the idea is that if you have perhaps an intermediate or above ability at a language, and you feel that you would like to be able to have the opportunity to practice that language with a native speaker, then what we do is to pair you up with a native speaker of that language. So for example, if you maybe have quite a good level of Spanish and you would like to keep that up, and maybe you're going to a level 7 Spanish course, but you'd also like to develop it further, we will attempt to pair you up with a Spanish native speaker that's keen to develop their English, if English is your native language. If English isn't your native language, we can also accommodate other pairs, like Spanish and German, for example. And really, the way to sign up for Tandem Language Exchange, if you would like to find a language partner, is to go to our website and to go to the relevant parts of the Tandem Language Exchange part, TLE part of our website. And you will find a form that you can fill in there and receive further details of this offer. We've seen some really positive pairs being formed over the past few years that we've been offering Tandem Language Exchange. It is a really worthwhile way to engage with a language, with another culture, and to develop your own ability to communicate in a real social way. Sense of a language that you gain from kind of being in at the deep end, if you like, from being there, sat across the table from a friend or a colleague or another student that is a native speaker of the language that you're trying to speak. It really opens up and creates a different sense and opportunity of your ability to develop your language skills and your cultural understanding. And you can also support them in their development of your native language, which will often be English, but not exclusively. Why would you want to do this? Why would we consider developing our language skills and our cultural awareness and things like that? Well, there are a lot of opportunities available to you at Queen's, and one of the, I suppose, for me, in my opinion, one of the real interesting and very appealing ones is the opportunity to consider studying or working abroad whilst you are here. Now, there are different opportunities in different degree course pathways, and I'd encourage all of you to consider at least how you might embed a study or work abroad placement into your time at Queen's, even if it isn't compulsory for part of your degree, because we have such positive feedback consistently coming back from students that do take this opportunity, and the development that they're able to undergo whilst they're there, the personal development and things like that is really encouraging and heartwarming, and something that they reflect positively on. Also, it's a really great way for you if you, I know you're in your first week of an undergraduate program at Queen's, but if we skip forward a little bit to you as a graduate, to you as somebody that is keen to, go out into the world of work and contribute and get a job that is rewarding and challenging and whatever it is that you're looking for from a career, then when you're trying to sell yourself, if you like, when you're trying to underline what you can contribute to a potential employer, having spent time on this kind of placement, study or work abroad placement, really allows you to underline a lot of really desirable transferable skills in the workplace at the minute. Your ability to communicate effectively, not just in your own language, but in another language. Your ability to act and think independently. Your ability to engage with another culture and to understand that other culture in an effective way. Your interpersonal skills, your communicative ability, like I've mentioned. All of those, that kind of package of transferable skills is something that you will all of a sudden be able to provide real life examples that will resonate perhaps a little bit more with potential employers, and whenever you find yourself in that position where you have the interview for that position that you really want, these are nice ways of underlining, like I say, a skill set that increasingly employers are keen to see individuals being able to underline. So something to consider, and obviously if you're considering studying or working abroad in a part of the world where English is not the primary language, it's a good idea to start as soon as possible developing and improving your ability to communicate in the relevant language there. So obvious synergies for that, and something to consider. Maybe not this week, it's your first week at Queen's, but certainly going forward I would encourage all of you to look into this at the very least and consider how you might do it, what it might look like, and how you might benefit. Some quick stats then. Only 6% of the world's population speak English as a first language, and 75% of the world's population do not speak any English at all. The idea that English is a lingua franca in business, yes, it exists, it is out there. However, it is not something that we can necessarily take for granted in the way that perhaps we may have used to be able to do. It is evolving very much so. I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. However, there are academics and researchers which are pointing to the potential for French to replace English, for example, as a result of the global population that speaks French and where the populations are growing globally. My point here, I suppose, is that that expectation that anywhere you go in the world you will be able to find English speakers is something that's perhaps more relevant to tourism than it is to actually the global workplace. English is a brilliant language to have as a first language or to be proficient in. However, it is not a key to speaking to the world. Only 6% of the world's population speak English as a first language, and so that is not a significant statistic. And English is quite simply not enough, particularly if your outlook is global going forward and after you leave Queen's, you're keen to open up global opportunities to yourself. Almost half of employers are disappointed with graduates' foreign language skills. And now obviously we're not talking about undergraduate students that take language degrees, we're talking about everybody else. And what's interesting about that is that you consider that, well, if I'm not a linguist, why would they be disappointed with my foreign language skills? And I suppose the point there is that increasing, particularly with global firms and global employers, they are looking to employ individuals that have a certain skill set, a certain set of competences and things like that, but they're also looking for additionally the ability to use that skill set, to assimilate that skill set. And a lot of the tools that you need to do that are communicative. Your ability to not just have an idea, but to share that idea positively with others, for example. Your interpersonal skills, your ability to speak English, even if English is your native language. And developing your language skills, developing your second or third language skills is a really great way to improve your own language skills in your first language, believe it or not. It allows you to reflect on that in a different way. I think Google recently said a year or two ago in an article that whenever they considered their senior management, so the guys at the top of the company, they reflected that of those people, as much as Google is full of people with really great IT-related skills, software development-related skills, and things like that, that their senior management was made up of people and individuals that had really great interpersonal skills, really great communicative ability, really great ability to, I suppose, work with multinational teams and be able to take those teams forward on projects effectively through primarily excellent communication. And so this is something, again, it's that transferable skill set that we talked about and that would help you to underline. And finally then, 3/4 of employers are looking to employ people with conversational language skills. What we mean by this is that it's not about becoming fluent. A lot of people come to me, a lot of students come to me and ask me questions about fluency and how long will it take me to become fluent. Fluency is a lovely idea, but I've been a Spanish learner. I've done 2 degrees related in some way to language and specifically to Spanish myself, and I don't know that I would consider myself to be fluent in Spanish. However, I am highly capable in Spanish, let's say. I am able to communicate across the majority of purposes that I would need to be able to communicate in Spanish on a regular basis. And really the focus of this is that don't worry about fluency so much. Let's focus on improving, and employers are looking to employ people with conversational language skills, so the ability to understand what's being said to them and to respond for set purposes. You don't need to therefore become fluent. You don't need to convince somebody that you are from, if you're learning Spanish, you don't need to convince people that you are from Spain. You need to be able to interact practically with people from that part of the world. And that's what we're talking about. So don't be put off by the idea that, oh, I don't know how good I could get during my time at Queen's. If I start now with a new language, is it really worth it? Let's not get caught up in that, because yes, it is worth it. And yes, it will allow you to not just underline the transferable skills that we talked about earlier, but to practically use those skills. Like I say, it's not about getting to fluency before you can practically use them. Really, it's much more about an intermediate level, maybe a B1 or a B2 level if you're familiar with the Common European Framework of Reference for languages. There's a notional list there from 2017 of what were considered to be by the British Council the top 10 languages in terms of their significance to the future of UK trade and international relations and things like that. A lot of people also ask me what is the best language to learn. If I had to pick one right now, what would I recommend? And I really can't answer that question to you because I think it should always be an individual decision. The best language for you to learn is the language that you feel drawn to in some way. If there is perhaps previous experience that you have that was positive that you'd like to reinforce, absolutely. If there's a language that you feel you've always wanted to learn for a reason, for a set reason, certainly try that out. I don't think that I would go by these kinds of lists necessarily, but there's one for context, just for you to consider and to answer that question, I suppose, a little bit. Finally then, a little bit of a question. Language skills deficit. A language skills deficit currently costs the UK economy one of those numbers every single year. One of those numbers in billions of pounds, I should say, every single year. Which one would you say that it is? Well, to put you out of your misery, it is C. It is £48 billion a year. Now, obviously, the UK economy cannot afford to be losing that kind of that amount of money, that scale of money every year. And it really does underline the need for language skills in the workplace. The need for linguists, yes, but also the need for language skills across the board in lots of different career areas and in lots of fields. It's not exclusively the need for linguists, it's the needs for perhaps engineers or perhaps researchers or perhaps people that can facilitate trade, people that can work for companies and that can interact with potential clients in different parts of the world. There's such a broad range of a need for us to plug, if you like, and to stop the language skills deficit. We do need these skills. This is a skill set that is relevant for the workplace at the minute, and it is something that increasingly is being looked for on top of a core skill set. So just because you're not necessarily studying a degree in languages doesn't mean that developing your language skills could not be of benefit to you in the workplace. Some other benefits to consider, I suppose, a little bit more relevant and specific to HAPP. If you're a historian, the ability to read a source text in the source language is something which is obviously seen as being of benefit and something that I'm sure that you could reflect on yourselves if that is an area that is interesting to you going forward. The ability to engage with international colleagues or engage with research opportunities. I mean, not all research that happens throughout the world happens through the medium of English. Often, research will be translated into English here and there, but really the idea that the niche area of research that you might be interested in, if you're interested in staying in academia, will be happening in your native language, is not one to hang your hat on. And so you can open up so many opportunities by being able to be flexible, to live in different parts of the world, to be comfortable interacting in multicultural teams and multinational teams as well. And so again, these benefits will be something that you will be able to, I suppose, elicit from developing your communicative ability, developing your understanding of other cultures, and developing your language skills as well from a practical perspective. It offers you the opportunity to broaden your cultural awareness and understanding through learning the language, through perhaps considering going on a study or work abroad placement, and even personally for your own life and for your own travel, and the benefits that you can take from traveling with improved language skills and improved competence in that area, I suppose are obvious. I don't need to go into too many details on those. Like I've mentioned, opening up career opportunities, perhaps the biggest career opportunity or the most relevant career opportunity to you either involves going and moving to a different part of the world where English is not the first language, or working for a multinational company where you are summarily working with people from all over the world and getting onto calls with people from all over the world, and your ability to understand and interact with those people effectively, understand how to communicate ideas clearly as well as positively, is something which sounds like common sense, but I promise you that it isn't, and I promise you that it is a skill that can be honed and improved and developed through, and that's what we're talking about in communication and interpersonal skills, and the global workplace and the evolving needs of the global workplace. Certainly this year in particular, we've seen a mass migration to to working online, to meeting online, and really that reduces, I suppose, even the barriers to distance in the workplace. There really isn't a difference to me collaborating with a colleague that lives in the same postcode as to collaborating with a colleague that lives perhaps in Spain or France or Germany or even the United States or Southeast Asia, because I can get on a Teams call, a Microsoft Teams call, or a video call using any platform with them all in the same way. And so physical geographical distances is really reducing in its significance as a barrier to working together, whether that's in research, whether that's in the workplace, or wherever it may be. Those philosophy students out there, obviously, I'll pick German, I suppose, as an example, to read, for example, Heidegger or Marx or Freud or even Einstein, to read those kind of famous thinkers, famous philosophers' ideas in source might be a benefit. I'm not saying all philosophy students need to take German, but I'm just trying to highlight that to further engage with your field, you can also do that by developing your language skills and being able to interact with perhaps other perspectives that don't appear so much in English. Politics, obviously there is an advantage for international relations, for understanding cultural difference and social cohesion, and issues like that are very current at the minute, something to bear in mind. And anthropology, obviously the study of human culture, something that I'm particularly interested in myself. Again, a greater understanding of culture coming from developing your language skills and your language competence is something that I would really encourage you to consider the benefit of also. I think there's a lot that you can develop through engaging with the Language Centre. So, like I say, registration is open now. If any of you would like to sign up for any of the language courses we talked about at the start of this session, you can do so by going to the website there, qub.ac.uk/LC. You got the little QR code for it also. And like I say, if you do want to get in touch with us, you can email us, and you can find all of the details of everything that I've been talking about on our website. I hope that obviously you have a great start to your time here at Queen, and I hope that over the next 3 or 4 years, however long your program is lasting, that we do see you in the Language Centre and that you do interact with us, and do bear in mind that we are here to support you, and so we look forward to doing that. All the best for now, and we wish you all the best for the start of the new term.